Welcome to the Building Texas Show, where we find the leaders behind the businesses and organizations driving progress in Texas. In each episode, we share the stories of innovators, entrepreneurs, and leaders committed to evolving Texas into its next era. I'm your host, Justin McKenzie, your guide to help you think about how to engage in the movement and support building Texas across the entire state. Founded by German freethinkers, determined to find freedom from dictatorial monarchies and clerics, Comfort, Texas remains an unincorporated census-designated area today. To that end, Comfort residents and businesses historically relied on community support and a spirit of the possible to be successful. To this day, Comfort is a place where people gather, they celebrate, and tap into the essence of the earliest settlers of the Texas Hill Country. Comfort is known in the region for its annual Christmas in Comfort celebration and is an ideal spot for tourists and weekend travelers wanting to experience the magic of the Texas Hill Country without the crowds. Welcome to this episode of the Building Texas Show. We have a unique opportunity today as we're discovering Comfort and really talking about what makes Comfort special. And we're joined by two guests that have really rolled up their sleeves and are the epitome of what I think makes Comfort special. And that is the people. And that is people that own businesses, people that run nonprofits, people that volunteer their time. And in Comfort, that's how things get done. And so we're sitting here today with Lisa Jenkins and Cara Hines. You both have stores that we'll talk about respectively. But in starting this conversation, we're talking about the pop-up initiative. And this initiative is unique to Comfort. And I'm so excited to dive into where'd the idea come from and what is it doing actively in the retail space in Comfort today?
Well, I was obsessing with how do we do something with these empty buildings. We had around 13 businesses close in the last year, and there were these wonderful buildings sitting empty, and some of it was due to turnover with properties. And so it was a bit disillusioning. It was a little scary for the business community, I think, those of us who still had businesses. But anytime I met with something that seems like a negative, I hit a point where I say, what's the opportunity here?
Yeah.
There's when one door closes, another one opens. And I think multiple people were doing this in various ways, but I was obsessed with how do we get pop-ups into these? How do we get temporary? What can we do that's creative and does not require long-term leases at unsustainable prices? So I created a map of Comfort and identified all of the empty buildings that were opportunities. And I identified all of the building owners, and I went to a community leader and said, I've got this. What do we do? How can we start an initiative? I did do a pop-up through Mixed House Gallery, my business, in one of the buildings with a neon artist. And it was my vision that it was sort of breaking the ice, showing what was possible in the community. And I think a lot of people saw, oh, wow, this really does bring life into this empty building, even if it's just for a short period of time. It brought people to town.
And that's where I saw it. And it drew my attention because I'm a fan of places like Marfa, right? And when you go into Marfa Radio is a place that you see and the neon glow out of their window at night, it'll stop you. And I was here for an event and I said, what is that glow down there? This isn't normal. And I saw the pop-up and that's how I learned about the initiative. And what a cool community initiative. And I like the art side of it. You and I have talked in the past, and you have a gallery in town. There's a lot of really creative people here, artists, writers, songwriters. We are an eclectic community of creators. And it was on display in that pop-up, and I suspect the future of the pop-ups.
Yeah. And so I think that was the appetizer. That was sort of the teaser. And of course, I just think that everything Lisa Jenkins at Freethinkers does is incredible. She has an amazing eye for aesthetic and marketing. And so at some point we started talking more, and it all grew, and we formed a steering committee, and we brought in people from the Comfort Area Foundation, Bernie-Kendall County EDC, Chamber of Commerce and Comfort, one member of the Bernie Chamber of Commerce, and then business owners. And we said, okay, how can we really quickly implement, sort of three main priorities. One, get a conversation, invite these building owners into a conversation, because a lot of people were talking about, oh, these greedy investors have just come in here and bought these buildings up, and they don't care about the community. They're just going to let the buildings rot until they get make their money someday. And it was really easy for everyone to sort of think that way, and me included. And then I went, wait a second, let's invite them into the conversation. We might learn that's how they feel, or we might learn that they actually really love the community. They just, maybe they're busy. Maybe they don't know what's going on. And so we created a breakfast, got everybody in the same room very quickly.
Like within the week.
Yes, within a week. Like we talked about it, and then, by the time, anyway, within 3 weeks, we had created a website, Instagram, Facebook, gotten a breakfast put together and funded, a logo for Visit Comfort TX. And that all happened. And we had close to 70 people show up for that breakfast. And we invited them into a conversation. What we found is most of the building owners were ready to be part of the conversation.
And a lot of them are your friends and neighbors in a lot of cases. And that's what is amazing to me. And towns like Comfort, and I'll just talk about Castroville for a minute, and it's published in Texas Monthly, so it's a known story. There was a group that put a fund together, and they ended up buying all their empty buildings and turning them into entrepreneurial sites. Wonderful success. Takes a lot of collaboration. Y'all are very early in this spirit, but the spirit of Comfort has been collaborative forever. The freethinker culture of Comfort, as in we don't want government oversight. So there's not a municipal government in Comfort. Right. You're not really a city. You're a unincorporated area. So it takes initiatives like this and people like you that are really volunteers. Could your business benefit from it? Sure, but this is volunteer work for the greater good of the community that's occurring. So you did all this really quickly. Where would we find you? Is it Visit Comfort TX? Is that your handle on social media?
VisitComfortTX.com. And then we have the Instagram at Comfort, Visit Comfort TX, and Facebook as well.
Yeah, it's all consistent.
And in that, because it's unincorporated, you don't have a tourism center, a visitor center, any of those resources. You have a chamber, a great chamber, does a lot of great work to promote Comfort. But what you're talking about promoting is promoting these individual businesses and really promoting a spirit of collaboration and making it visible.
Yeah, with the chamber has been rebuilding itself, and they've been doing a really good job and working really hard to say, okay, we're just going to do what a chamber is supposed to do. So we were very clear about Visit Comfort TX is going to promote these pop-ups to make Comfort vibrant through the holiday season, to ensure people want to come, they want to stay longer, and they want to come back.
Yeah.
And the chamber is tasked with supporting all of the businesses that are its members, to include welding shops and insurance agencies. Not necessarily all of them have to do with tourism. We are focused solely on tourism, attracting people to town and spending their money here at shops, wineries, restaurants, hotels, and falling in love with comfort and telling all of their friends.
Yeah. And that is our initiative with the feature of comfort. And where I enjoy covering it is people like you. That it isn't, oh, here's another business owner doing the same thing that we've seen in Greene and Mason and Fredericksburg. You're really shifting and pushing a different conversation. You attract a different tourist than Fredericksburg does. So you've got to meet that market. How do you do that? Is it collective social media? Is it, Lisa, are you spending 24/7 pushing it out? What does that look like?
I think we all are.
Everybody is.
I think everybody is. You can see kind of right now we're advertising to ourselves because everybody's excited. The whole town has liked and shared the page. And so I think it's kind of growing from there. And the more that we can work together and everybody collaborate, the bigger it's going to get.
Yeah. So the call to action for the pop-up initiative is to come visit. Mm-hmm. When are these pop-ups open?
Well, we started with our big events, get things happening in these buildings. So that was Saturday, Saturday Diva Day, which was all day. It was a huge success. And then tonight actually is Girls' Night Out. Yeah. And we have it. And what I want to say about the pop-ups is we were very intentional about who we invited. We curated a list. We sort of looked at it as an opportunity to plant the seeds of what we want to see take root in comfort.
So it's not vape shops.
It is not vape shops. It is high quality, handmade, artisan goods. And so we really concentrated on filling them for special events like Girls' Night Out, Diva Day, Christmas and Comfort. And once we get through tonight, we're going to take stock and see how many of them are available to fill weekends but in between. And
we've already had some success with this movement that one of our buildings downtown, maybe two of them, have found long-term leases since we started.
Yeah.
So that's our goal. We want our buildings filled and we want them vibrant.
Yeah.
I so appreciate the goal, and I think it's an initiative that we can push with pride and really be excited to share Comfort Texas, because you do have to, when you're coming through town, it can be, if you're not familiar, you stay on 27, you get to Kerrville and you're like, where was Comfort? Mm-hmm. You have to get off onto High Street. You have to take that left, whether it's on 8th or 7th or, oh no, I missed it, and come back around. And doing that on social media, doing that collectively is really going to break us out of that marketing to ourselves, which I appreciate that. And I'd encourage, this is where we want people to share it. This is where, if you can share it to your friends that are in Dallas, Houston, maybe College Station, and bring them down to Comfort, it does make a huge difference.
Well, and liking and sharing.
And that's what our audience can do to really support this initiative the most, is engage. And that could be liking and sharing, commenting, or saying, you know what, I want to go see these pop-ups. I want to come see what Cara and Lisa are talking about and the culture of collaboration that they may not experience in their hometown.
Yeah. Yeah. Our hope really is that every weekend it's some maybe steady pop-ups, but new pop-ups, maybe they're just there for that weekend.
And let's talk about your individual shops. So you're very different in the shops that you run. You run a gallery, and Mixed House Gallery, and you can find that online. What would somebody expect walking into Mixed House Gallery?
So Mixed House Gallery is a contemporary art gallery that focuses on mixed media artists, mixed discipline artists, mixed use space. And so the mixed is obvious, that part of the name. And then house, H-A-U-S, is a nod to the place. I wanted it to make sense in the place where it resides. because comfort is so historical, I wanted contemporary art. And in everything I do my best to incorporate something about the heritage of the town, the story of how comfort was founded by the Freethinkers. It makes a lot of sense for artists, writers, songwriters, poets. It's a really great place to come here and exhale and be a little bit more yourself. It's easier to be authentic here, hear your own thoughts. So it's a really great place as a destination for people who like to make art, create things, use their imaginations, and also who want to take it in. So having Mixed House Gallery, a contemporary gallery in Comfort, while on the surface might seem a little out of place, I actually think it makes a tremendous amount of sense. And apparently a lot of people do too, because it's doing great.
Well, I'm thrilled to hear that. And I would echo the sentiment. It's beautiful to walk into, experience, and just see a different type of gallery that does pay respects to the heritage, but it brings in that modern touch as well. She mentioned the Freethinkers that founded Comfort, and we talk a lot when we talk about featuring Comfort that the Freethinker mentality is what has kept it unincorporated, but it's what's also brought people together on how do we solve this problem, and we don't need the oversight and rules, etc. So there's a spirit, the Freethinker spirit is alive and well in Comfort, Texas, and I think we all embrace that.
We do.
And you have a store
We do.
called Freethinkers
General Store.
Yep. And
Yes.
what do you do in that store, and how does that come into the mix?
Well, we named the store Freethinkers General Store because a nod to the history. I think Cara and I both love history in general, but specifically the story of Comfort. And so that's where the name comes from. And when you walk inside, it's a store like a lot of towns have stores, but I personally feel that my general store is very unique and free-spirited, and you're going to find items that you're not going to find in other stores. And so that was my goal, is just to bring a little uniqueness to Comfort that wasn't there. In some other tourist towns in Texas, you walk through store after store and you see a lot of the same stuff. And that's not what we wanted. We wanted something that was fun and different. And I think we've accomplished that.
Absolutely. I appreciate the local brands that you have in there and some of the local products that are in there.
We try to bring in Texas handcrafted. The entire store's not everything is that, but wherever we can, we bring in local, and we really care about that.
And you're both located here on High Street.
Correct.
And High Street is such a unique little town. And I like to say Comfort's the last little town in Texas that really hasn't been overly developed, commercialized, and turned into the same set of buses coming in. You really do see unique people coming here, and for unique reasons. And when they discover it, I believe they come back 3, 4, 5 times, or they move here.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We all have gotten here some way or another, but it has been the freethinker culture that's brought us back and has us doing the work that we're doing locally.
And we hear it every day with the people who walk through our businesses. Just the charm is incredible, and the uniqueness and the beauty and the simplicity, I think, is what people are drawn to.
It's calm and peaceful.
It is.
There is never a shoulder-to-shoulder moment in Comfort, Texas.
Even on a busy day, even during an event, there's just everybody is just so lovely, and there's just this sense of, like Cara mentioned earlier, this exhale when you go here.
And I really do, even people who aren't that necessarily interested in history in general have a tendency to come to Comfort and fall in love with the history here and the story here. And I'm one of those. I haven't really been a history buff all my life. But when I came to Comfort, and I'm from Texas, but I'm from a small town in Texas, but I've never lived in a place where I was so smitten with the history and the characters of this place. And something we didn't talk about earlier when we were talking about Visit Comfort TX and creating the logo and the website and, the whole conversation about creating making sure comfort thrives. We have to maintain the heritage as we move forward.
And respect the history.
Respect it, bring it along with us, and continue to tell those stories, because once it's gone, it's gone. And you see it happen all over the country. People move in and they fall in love with a place and they come in and then they strip it of all the reasons that they were attracted to it in the first place. And comfort is extremely protective, probably more so than any place I've ever known.
I agree.
Of its identity and its heritage. And I feel protective of that.
Well, and we see that in the Comfort Heritage Foundation and the work that they do, and they collect and record keep really well. But I never knew I was such a fan of architecture until Alfred Giles. That's a fun story. And that is so much of what is comfort. But then I think about the people that have bought these buildings over the years and sold them. And it's always been people investing in comfort and then being supported by the community around them. We've talked to Bending Branch. We've talked to Singing Water, Ribbon Rock Ranch. Those are all examples of people coming in, making investment, and then being supported in big ways by the community. The same for all of the retail stores, the gallery, your general store. You're making those investments, and it's the community coming in and supporting and lifting it up.
I mean, I've never felt so welcome. I have moved probably every 6 months to a year my entire life. And I have never felt so welcome as I did when I landed in Comfort in 2005. It's the town and it's the community, it's the people. And we're welcoming to outsiders because we don't consider them outsiders. They're our guests.
And that's where I think we can wrap up our conversation and really celebrate. People are coming to Comfort because you're doing the pop-up initiative and you're giving them a reason to discover it. What I know they will fall in love with, what will bring them back, is the experience they have while they're here, the people that they meet, and these stories that won't take you long to find. If you're visiting Comfort and you're sitting at High's Cafe across the street, in your lunchtime, you will see and hear and experience people helping each other on High Street.
Absolutely.
And what an incredible gift to this community and the communities around us, where you're really putting in that support and pushing that initiative and creating a brighter future here in Comfort.
I think so. I agree.
What is it? I forget who said it, but there's a quote that says, people won't remember what you said. They may not even remember what you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And I think Comfort makes people feel good.
Comfort makes people comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Well, I so appreciate you both spending time with us today and the work and the effort. I know you all have a busy afternoon ahead, so thank you. And let's get the message out to our audience. Engage, like, and share, and look at Comfort and this pop-up initiative as an example. If your town has an opportunity like this, what an amazing spirit for y'all to roll up your sleeves and make this happen as quickly as you have. But look at the impact. And I hear the stories, both sides of Comfort, sharing that excitement, sharing that momentum, and going into Christmas in Comfort, going into 2025. I want to encourage people to come discover it for themselves. Come experience the parade and spend some time in the shops and have a lot of fun understanding and discovering what makes Comfort really unique. And it is people like you. So, Cara Hines, Lisa Jenkins, thank you for the way that you are building Texas and really pouring into the community of Comfort.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you to all of our sponsors who have helped feature Comfort Texas on the Building Texas Show. Please visit comfort.texas www.buildingtexasshow.com to learn more about these sponsors, Comfort Texas, and to plan your next road trip into the Texas Hill Country. To learn more, visit our website, buildingtexasshow.com. You can also connect with us on Facebook at Building Texas.